Play the clip, Envy.
What's up, guys? It's Envy. We're back for another episode of Sit Down with Envy. Now today I have streamer legend in OCE, KcGoku. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for that awesome intro. That was way more than I was expecting.
Are you not a legend?
Oh, I just needed that reassurance. So I'll take that for sure.
Because I would argue your Malzahar is feared for your
Aw.
teammates. Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, look, my item choice maybe not the best. It's a safe pick, that's all it is.
Yeah, of course. So we're gonna kick this off with who is KcGoku? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I'm a 30-year-old guy now. Feels weird saying that, but I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Been playing League for about 5 or 6 years now. Been streaming for a long time. It's coming up to 10. I think this is like the 10th year actually where I've been streaming.
Yeah.
So I know all about it. I know all about, even Justin TV back in the day. Like I've been around the block for quite a while, so it's been a good experience, honestly. So that's just a little bit about my streaming thing. I think obviously like my chat these days has really been really awesome actually. Like it's popped off quite a lot recently and
Yeah.
really encouraging good behavior. So I know that's not what League people are used to, but
No, of course not.
yeah, I'm trying to change it a little bit one by one.
One person at a time, one creature changing.
Yep, that's it.
You know, they walk into your stream a degenerate, they leave a slightly less degenerate.
Slightly less.
Not
No.
not too much less.
Can't promise anything, but a lot of them do show good signs, shall we say.
Yeah. Of course. So, getting into League of Legends, because everybody has their own backstory, right? I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were like, "Oh yeah, my brother got me into it and then left, and now I'm stuck playing this game without him." So how did you get into League of Legends?
Damn. So I started playing StarCraft 2, which is a Blizzard game, obviously. It's an RTS. And I think I played StarCraft 1 when I was really young. So I think StarCraft 2 for me came out when I was about 16, 17. And that was that was like my first online experience with games. Yeah. So I was really competitive. I got up to quite a high rank. Like I was at Diamond area. I was touching master players. And it was actually like that transition from StarCraft to League.
Yeah.
I was just getting sick and tired of StarCraft because it was getting really hard. I was like, damn, I've been playing this game for a long time now, and I need to play something else. And one of my mates played League, and I made fun of him at the time for it. I was like, dude, what is this game? Like, come on, let's go back to StarCraft. And yeah, like he just showed me League, and I was just naturally really competitive.
Yeah.
And that competitive drive was just really good. So I needed something to just keep me going. Yeah, something that I can be like, hey, I suck right now, but if I put in the time and the effort, I'll potentially get better at this. And it was something that I really wanted to just practice myself, get better at, and just enjoy it because it was a fun game, and I hated knowing that all these players were better than me. So I wanted to just play it as much as possible, and I started playing Sonar. I think was my first champ, and then I was like, nah, this ain't for me at all.
Wrong role.
wrong champion. And that's how I started getting into it. Like we started playing bot games. Obviously, we weren't very good, but we had the mechanics. But just remembering what champs did and all that was a lot. So I'm sure you know something similar.
It's a very rough one, and like nowadays, because I came in around 2013, 2014, I would be terrified to try and teach someone the game now, because how am I supposed to explain to them what Hui does?
Yeah.
Like,
or his Q's got 3 different abilities.
His W's got 3 different abilities, so does his E. His ult
Yeah.
randomly kills people, and or a champion like Aphelios that randomly changes guns, and you got all these different patterns, and it's just the skill ceiling now is so much higher than it used to be. It used to be, oh yeah, Garen runs at you, and Trundle also runs at you, and like Jinx will run at you if she gets a kill, right? It was very simple to learn back then. But going from a game like StarCraft, because that is typically a 1v1 game, right? I was more of an Age of Empires fan than a StarCraft personally, but
Yeah.
they're pretty similar in what they did, right? I think StarCraft was just
Yeah.
slightly bigger, especially in the online scene. But so my point behind that is, obviously you've got a lot of people on League, they'll be like, oh, my bloody teammates, man, if I just had five of me, I'd never lose a game. How does it feel going from a game where it is entirely your fault if you lose, to where you can kind of like shelter blame if you choose to take that route on League? So what's
Yeah.
the mindset behind that kind of change?
Yeah, it's funny because I've actually a lot of players I see the same thing. Like people, especially in low elo, like you just get in that common misconception that you do something stupid, whose fault is it? You know, like are you actually going to take responsibility for what you did?
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, we're not. And
yeah,
I've actually got that mindset. And sometimes I'll fall into that trap as well and I'll be like, okay, I've just made a mistake. Whose fault is it? But then you got to kind of humble yourself and you don't play a perfect game. No one plays a perfect game. At some point, you can be super fed and you can still make a mistake and it throws the game. So
yeah.
you really got to like take a step back from your ego and just like micromanage where you've made mistakes. Because in StarCraft, if you make one small mistake, you've got no resources or you've lost
And you
your
lose the
army
game.
and you lose the game and you
Yeah,
can't put the blame on anyone. So it's almost like that's been cemented in my mind that I've always got something to look for because I
yeah,
haven't played a perfect game no matter what I've done. So my micro macro has got to be perfect. I wasn't there 1 second later or 1 second before, and it could have been completely different. So that's the thing that I really encourage people is even if they win, like what could you have done better to make that game better for your teammates?
yeah. Or to close it out faster, or you know, I,
Yeah,
because me personally, when it comes to solo queue, I would much rather be 3-9-12 and win the game than be 7-1 and lose. Right? I'd much rather allow myself to be carried by doing the dumb stuff to get the engages for my teammates to win the game than
yeah,
look really good and be like, oh yeah, my team just let me down. When let's say there was like 3 or 4 different fights, if you look at the game where I actually just didn't contribute anything and I just let people die and just walked away.
yeah,
So
100%.
it's
It's like
uh it's a catch 22.
it's like knowing your role as well. A lot of champions have different roles, and for example, I know we both play mid lane, right? And there's so
Yeah,
many different styles of mid lane champions that, for example, if you're playing Malzahar and you have a Kha'Zix jungle and he's just rushing the Belveth every single time and gets 2v1'd, or 1v2'd, sorry, and your Malzahar, you can't really do anything pre-6.
nah,
So it's not really something you want to do, but continuously if they do it, you're gonna be like, okay, well it's not my fault, but what can I do to help him next time maybe?
yeah, so I've played a lot of tournaments, and in tournaments the champions like the Orianas of the world, the Cassiopeias, the Syndras, they're all like very like high priority because you're playing in a team environment, and they're typically better in the mid to late game. But I
Yeah,
learned in solo queue I had to drop those champions outside of Oriana because Oriana was broken, right? Like she was just too good not to play. I dropped those and picked up Tristana. Again, you've told me you don't like the Tristana pick, but it gives me the opportunity just to either kill my lane opponent or with my jungler, sit all junglers, if they see a fight, they take a fight. Right?
yeah,
There's very little like, oh maybe I don't take this one. It's just I see them, I go. And so it allows me to move and go with them. And then if we both die, well, potentially we'll lose the game, but he can't be mad at the fact that I didn't walk for him. So
Yep, yep. No, I actually agree. I've started playing champs like Syndra and Victor because they scale really well.
yeah,
And I know that, sometimes the shit does hit the fan and your jungler does suck, so you just got to try and carry a late game. But it's as you said, like it's a bit of a catch-22 where if your jungler needs the help, he's not gonna get as much as he wanted.
yeah.
So and I also don't like Tristana because she's hard to play against. That's all. I think she's a really good mid laner, so I would encourage anyone who wants to start playing mid lane get into Tristana because she's so good.
Nah, because it's gonna get nerfed. Don't play Tristana. Play Zed. There's a good one. I could do.
Plays Zed.
I could do some Zed nerfs.
Nah, because you just ban him every game. Like, why, dude?
Oh, you ban Zed, do you?
Every single game I ban Zed because I can't play against him.
Yeah. Look, all you're gonna do is you're gonna find the Yasuo players in your games too. They're very prevalent down in the pits.
I mean, I'll be honest, it's easier to play against Yasuo than Zed, especially when you play Katarina, because at least he does dumb shit and just dies under turret.
Yeah.
Zed just dashes away and one shots you.
Yes, as he's dashing away. It's
Yeah.
great. It's so much fun.
Same with the Blanc. Like any dash champ is just a nightmare, honestly. I
Yeah.
hate it.
That's why like Vex is super clean. Like,
Yeah, well, have you seen my Vex recently? It's been insane, I swear.
has it? Is
It's getting better. It's
Is
getting
that why
better.
you picked Malzahar still?
It's a warm-up game today. Malzahar's the easiest mid lane champion in the game, so I just
Whoa,
play him.
whoa, 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 whoa! You will
Behind
not.
Tristana.
You will. Hey, 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 hey! You will not slander Malzahar. The easiest mid lane champion's Annie.
Yeah, they're on the same level, but at least Mel's can poke from base.
From base.
Yeah, you just press E and then you press recall, and then you can farm under the fountain. True.
You're not wrong, right? Like I can't be like you're wrong because I used to do them all the time. Just pop the EW and be like, I'll see you next wave, right? 'Cause
Yeah, 100%.
I've gone walkabouts, but yeah. So then we move into the part where so you went from playing League, so now you stream League. How did we evolve from just casually playing the game to playing it a little bit more competitively into then streaming yourself playing as well?
Yeah, so there's a bit of a backstory. I don't want to bore you with my games in a row that I did, but I'll quickly touch on. I started streaming StarCraft first,
Yeah.
and then I realized my streaming personality was okay. I'm not the best player, so how can I take off in terms of being a better streamer? So I introduced like my personality and my yelling. Let's say I was a bit of a yeller when I was younger, and I tried to just be more vibrant and just encouraging for people to, like I understand there's a lot of streamers that just sit there and play. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather have a bit of a personality behind it. So I went from playing StarCraft, having a bit of a personality, and then realizing StarCraft's kind of hard to be good and have a personality and read chat because you got to like
Because you're
focus
in.
on so
Yeah.
many things.
You have to
Like
be
if you
focused
look
on
at the map, you got to look at the map just constantly, and if you miss something for, you know, 1 second, you got a whole army in your base, sort of thing. So it went from StarCraft to Minecraft. I'm not going to talk about that because that was a long time. And then I started playing, yeah, and then I sort of went into League because Minecraft was just boring as.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows Minecraft, it's super grindy. You just do hours and hours and hours of work and you got a sore wrist. So League was that competitive like drive that I needed because yeah, I'm just a really competitive person. Always have been.
Yeah.
Love my sport. Get the rush from the sport. Love going to the gym as well. And League was just really good to fill that void, honestly. So it was like a really good game to stream because you can sort of talk and play and you can do your own thing. You can get up, do push-ups midstream. I'll mid lane. You can do some squats if you need to, and then you can just come back and nothing's changed.
Yeah, it's a lot more like chat friendly, right, when you play a game like League as opposed to like a StarCraft. Because as you
Yeah,
mentioned, you look away for 1 second. Oh, I'm now down 2 minutes of tempo, right? Because it all just rolls into one. Um,
yeah,
my only issue with streaming, because I used to stream like casually around the COVID period, and then every now and again when I feel like it, which is very rare if I'm gonna be honest about it, because I don't want to be one of those people who just like sits there in the chair playing the game, right? It's very boring. The only reason you get away with it is if you're really good at the game,
yeah,
because then
hundred
people are gonna
percent.
watch you have to be either funny to draw attention, or you have to be really good. And I
Yeah,
found playing solo queue, especially on my main, when I'm having to like try hard, because the games get very difficult when you like reach like your peak level.
yeah,
And I'm not really good at like bantering off myself. I can banter off anybody else in like a chat, and normally that's when like I get the fire conversations. But it's very hard just like talking to myself, trying to banter off me.
yeah. No, I understand that for sure. I was lucky enough to have a bit of a following before I got into League,
Yeah,
so I think a lot of my personality is I'm happy to laugh at myself, and I think I'm just so used to talking in game and then also talking out of game that it's just come naturally for me. And I like to think that my streaming personality is actually my real personality, so there's no fakeness behind it.
yeah,
And yeah, like I'll be honest, like I think my peak is about platinum, right? So I'm currently sitting in gold, where that's the limit of I don't have to sweat and I don't have to be super good for people to care. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it is nice to actually be where I am without having to worry about my rank as well. Because I know a lot of streamers get really down on when they lose a game, but I'm happy and I feel blessed to be able to stream rather than just play League. I don't
yeah,
actually play League that often off stream, if ever. So it is mainly for the streaming aspect of it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I get that, right? Like, there was a point in my like League playing time where all I did was play scrims or tournament games. Like my solo queue plummeted for like 2 years, and it's probably why I was like sitting gold for quite some time. Until someone started talking shit, and obviously the competitiveness in me was like, I'm gonna show you, right? Like it just
I'm a lock
happened.
in Tristana.
It just happens like that, right? Like I'm a, let me shut you up real quick,
Yeah,
and then the moment I hit the rank, it's like, why not masters? And it's like, there's just no stopping these people,
yeah,
right? Um, but I don't know. I find I need something to keep me going when it comes to a game like League of Legends, because when you have the bad games in a row, like even if it's not you personally, but you just lose games and you lose again and again and again, like sometimes it can be slightly frustrating to most people, and it's super hard to just keep going. I find if I'm streaming, typically it'd be like during the day. I'll be like, okay, yeah, I might play 3 games of League. If I lose that first one, I'm like, I can't be bothered queuing up again. But I'm streaming and I said I play 3 games, and it's like now it's a chore, and I'm not actually playing for the fun. I'm just playing because I said I'd play.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the challenge for people that are just getting into streaming and don't have a full-time schedule, is you have to find the motivation to stream, and then you've also got to find the motivation to stream hour after hour, and it can be hard. Like I completely understand. Like it's a full-time job, and there's no dedicated pay to it either. So there's like, you know, it is a job and it's also fun, but like you got to find that line, and I totally get it, and that's why it's encouraging for me when I see myself not getting emotionally affected when I lose.
Yeah,
Like sometimes I'll be, bummed out, whatever. Someone comes in the chat after the game and tells me how good I am. But yeah, I think I've got myself to a point now where I'm quite humble about winning and losing that it actually doesn't really affect me. So it's good. It's actually a really good spot.
Yeah, it's a much better way to be when it comes to gaming, right? You're here for a
Yeah.
fun time, not a. Because again, if you are being like super serious and you're like, I must win, no one really wants to watch that either, right? Like, there's no goofiness, there's no like vibing, right? You're kind of just
Goofiness.
you're just locked in, and you're probably like, like you'll pan over to the chat and just like, unless it's something important, you'll just ignore it, right? And no one really wants to watch something like that.
Yeah. And funny enough, a lot of the people, because I don't know if you've seen, but sometimes I'll link my stream after a game, or
Yeah,
most games I do. And some of the people that come into chat, coincidentally enough, well, after a loss is usually the best ones because they turn out to be okay.
yeah,
And sometimes I've met people who I've actually, I know, for example, one of my mods was one of the guys in my game who absolutely stumped me, and he was really cool about it. And now he's one of my good friends. So yeah, the league, that's like a sample of the league community. They can be good, but you've just got to be good yourself. Don't
yeah.
be an asshole. Continue to be a good person and don't let people get to you.
Yeah, it's very rare like people are gonna like kick off over nothing, right? Like, especially after the game ends. Like inside of the game, people are probably gonna flame and whatnot, right? But afterwards, normally it's a lot more relaxed. Um, unless you're an Emerald, Emerald is a bit of a pit for toxicity after the game. I've been added a few times of late, and have
Yeah.
been sent some great DMs.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard Emerald's pretty bad.
but yeah, it's I don't know, because as you climb, right, people start shifting their mentality to I am him, and it's a bad way to play the game
Yeah.
because
Nah, I
sometimes you're
definitely,
not him.
yeah, I get that as well. Especially after you play Assassins, you just think you are like Faker's unborn son or something, and then all of
Yeah,
a sudden you get shit on one game, and then you're just like, oh, completely humbled.
yeah, especially when you like run into someone who is not gonna let you run over them. Right, like I'm sure like you've probably played the games where you'll go one game and you're like, oh, I can do anything I want, right, in this lane, and it just, everything's just going the right way. You're always flipping heads, right, and then you play the next game, and it's like you just get killed in lane once, and then it's like a stone wall, and you just can't push past the wall, and they just lock you into such an unplayable game, and it's like
Yeah,
I can't do anything
yeah.
in this game. It's such a roller coaster of emotions when it comes to League of Legends.
Oh mate, there's been times where I'll play Katarina because that's my main, and then all of a sudden I'll have a massive game, just get completely fed, and then I'll just get counterpicked by like a Lucian or something, and then I just can't do anything, and then or an Aurelia who
Yeah,
is just like insane. You just can't react to it, and you just feel like an absolute peasant, and you're just like, damn, I'm getting humbled so hard right now. It's
yeah,
crazy. So it just makes you question what you're doing, and then you're like, damn, I got to play another champion because my Katarina sucks now, and
yeah. Like, oh, I can't play into this champion anymore. I thought that was a good matchup. It's not a good matchup because he's just shown me it's not a good matchup. And you start doubting
true.
your own abilities.
Or even if you play it into a favored matchup and then you get shit on, and you're like, oh, damn, dude, am I really good with this champion? Maybe not.
Should I play this anymore?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just go back to Ari. I don't know. Somebody's got long
Hey,
range.
yo, Tristana's open again. Weird.
Yeah, that's why I went to Victor and Syndra because they just got good poke.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm gonna dive away from the next question just because we're gonna touch on that slightly soon. I wanna hear thoughts on season 14, right? Because we're now a few patches in. You had the huge map overlay of changes, and a lot of the items got either revamped or reworked. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
So I think my first couple of thoughts were avoid grubs are OP. There is so much going on. Well, at the first couple of weeks, it was just like a shit show in the Rift. everyone's up there. There's always like a 3v3 going
It's a
on.
party on the top
Yeah.
side.
And then sure enough, like in the LEC and whatnot, there's like 5v5 at the grubs. I'm like, what the hell? This is so important.
Yeah.
Um, and then it just seemed like, from a mid lane perspective, a lot of the mages were broken because there's such strong items for mages like Storm Surge. Thank
Still
God they
OP.
fixed that.
Yeah, it's still slightly strong, but yeah.
Yeah, but holy shit, that was just like Fizz, for example. Fizz gets Storm Surge and it's just game over.
Yeah, you don't get to play the game anymore. It was
Yeah,
that bad.
you get like altered and then you're just basically dead. So I don't know if that changed into. I don't actually personally follow a lot of the stats, what they do to items. I just sort
Yeah.
of hear about it and then chat usually tell me. But I don't know if that's changed to like magic resist items are broken. But I swear every tank is just unkillable as a
For mage,
mage.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really bad. I
I can't do anything.
I played a scrim set, right, and I get annoyed when someone's not like, in my opinion, playing the game. So
What do you mean?
I played into Gregus mid in the first game. So just like very very unconventional type stuff. So like Gregus mid's fine, seen it plenty of times, but then he played Nautilus mid, and I was like, okay then. He may or may not have solo killed me once in lane because Nautilus. And then
Who are you playing?
I was playing Vex, and
Okay.
I got locked down. We are both level 6, and he just killed me. It was very disrespectful of me, but shouldn't have died, but I did. And then game 3, so we had lost the first 2 games, and so normally game 3 is a bit of like a troll solo, like a troll game, like from the team that's up 2-0, just because, you know,
Yeah.
how grief can you be and still win the game, right? Is normally how the ego comes in. So
Well,
I said to my team, I was like, because I was in like a bad mood. I was like, this guy doesn't even want to play the game. I'm actually better than him, but he's just playing shit to dodge the laning phase. And so game 3, I was like, just first pick me Corki, right? I don't care what he plays, just give me Corki. And he locks
yeah.
in Sion mid, and I'm like, bro, first item, that fucking stupid ass magic resist tank item where you run away for 15 seconds and comes back and it's like a 500 shield. And weirdly
Long
enough,
subs with K. Yeah.
I never got through that in that game. We won, but I was like, someone else has to deal with him. I can't do it. You know,
You
he's
just
not.
lane swap.
Nah, I was like, I can't kill him. I'll kill the minions, but someone else has to kill him later in the game. I can't do it because
Yeah.
Corki is pretty much all magic damage. So like, I think personally, as a mid lane player, we should start a petition to remove that item.
Is it the one that gives you a magic shield out of combat?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it starts with like K. It's like chaonic something.
Yeah, I'm sure your chat probably knows, bloody nerds.
Yeah, I know what it is as well because everyone we played an ARAM one time and 4 of them, we had like 4 AP champions and 4 of
Yeah,
them bought that one item and it was just unplayable. It was the
yeah.
most frustrating game we've ever played.
It's just because you build that into then like the AP like Sunfire cape, and it's
Yeah.
like if I get hit by the Scion Q, I'll still die. And it's like I shouldn't die because he's got 4,000 health and shouldn't be able to kill me, but he'll kill me. And it's
Yeah.
like
His
maybe
auto
I
attack does like half your health.
yeah. And like as a mid lane player, we're not allowed to complain about things because mid lane's always been the most broken role, according to 80 carry players.
Broken roll, I don't know. Influential roll, yeah.
You know, I remember the metas where we were playing Lulu mid back in season 5 because
Lulu mid.
they were playing that in like the LCK and stuff, so people went to adapt to it.
Oh, actually, people started playing Karma mid. I played that the other day. It was pretty good.
Yeah, my team got me on that game, on that for one game. Don't know if they'll
Yeah,
let
it's
me
pretty
play it
solid.
again. Weird.
Did you go Malignance?
Eventually I think.
Or whatever it's called? Malignance?
Yeah, I think I ran it down, and like
Oh.
someone on my team accused me of like win trading, so I didn't have to play it again, and I was like, no, would never do that, right?
That's alright. Send it top. Don't play mid anymore. Send it top.
Yeah, yeah, send it to my top laner. They can play Ornn, Karma, or Sion. They can take their pick.
Dude, I remember when I used to play top as well, and then I used to just run Yorick,
Yeah.
and then I'd just go just like solo, just pretty much like solo my lane and just never fight, and I just win games in silver. That's how I got out of silver, is just by playing Yorick top. That was a good time, but
Yeah. The
yeah, top
uninteractive
lane
champions
wasn't.
are so much more fun.
Yeah, I'd much rather get like 10 CS per minute and no assists or deaths. That'd be good.
Yeah. Right. Last topic then. So recently, and you've played in two of them. The second one was a bit sour, so we can talk as much of that as you would like to. But so there are people looking at like streamer tournaments and just a lot more like community vibing, and you start having yarns to people. That's actually how I met you and your channel was through the likes of Pike, because I think I'd seen
Yeah.
it once, but I was like, I went in, like, I think I went into it, and then I was like, I don't normally chat in channels I go into unless like I'd like know them, because I'm like, I'm just a random, like we won't yarn to this person who I don't know, right? Know
Yeah.
nothing about them. So I met you through Pike because I was already on his mod team at the time, and he was like, we're gonna bring these people in. It was like you and Birdie, and then Pike had his team. So I know we've talked about this like off stream and stuff, but just your general thoughts on getting together with other like content creators and streamers, and how you feel about that type of stuff.
Oh, it's awesome. Like from a personality who has never done that before, it was obviously it was a new thing for everyone. Well, I know Pike was
Yeah,
sort of like he's sort of done that stuff before, but in terms of the layout, he was quite new to it, and I wouldn't say it was messy. Like it wasn't messy or anything. I think it was definitely good to get involved because as a streamer, you want to get as much, you know, you want to get out there as much as you can, basically. Like you want to get your name out there, make a name for yourself, sort of thing.
yeah,
And for the first one, just having the three of us, it was really good because that was just like basically a warm up for Pike and his team and to see how things would go. And it was pretty smooth. Everything was fine. Everyone enjoyed themselves, and just sort of getting that concept of points, the point
yeah.
system. That was difficult, but it was also not impossible. So that was like a pretty good way of doing it. Is it the best way of doing it for the future? Will have to be determined. But
I
how did you
guess
think the points were?
I so I technically had a team in the second one, right? Because I was like, I kind of want to be involved, but I don't want to be involved once it like gets to a bigger scale, because I don't stream that often, and it's like it's better if it happens now than later. Only for the fact that like if I'm me and my little like 6 viewers, depending on who's watching, as comparisons to someone on like 45, it just feels like wrong to be in the mix with like those kinds of people. So I was like, I'll come in now, right? Most people still know me even if I don't stream very consistently, and so it's like my name's still out there. The point
Yeah,
system to me personally was a bit of a rough one, only for the fact that I basically anyone I know is plat and above, right? Or like plat peak and above, just because of how like normal tournaments before that had worked, and people like typically climbed and whatnot. So my team originally settled on Colat, which was my 80 carry player, who was peak Emerald 1, and
yeah,
then because he messaged me like a week before, because he was like going on such like a hot streak. I think when we did the team, he was Emerald 3, so it was him and like his 4 gold friends,
yeah,
right? So like we hit like 44 points, but he was like E1 peak, even though he was like in E3, because that's kind of like how it worked, because he was Emerald the split before,
yeah,
and he started climbing, and so he messaged me, and I was like, he was like, I don't really want to like wait, because he had never been diamond before, and I was like, go for it, like we will sort something out. Do not hold yourself back from hitting like arguably that's when, like, you've made it if you hit diamond. It's typically how most people like see League of Legends. Is
Okay.
like
I didn't know that.
you've now like made it in a way, because you start
Really?
seeing, yeah. I'm telling myself that, at least, I've made it, because
Okay.
just some copium, right? But
I'll
like,
keep that in mind when I get to
yeah,
Diamond.
I'll be challenge 11, but um, but yeah, like most people, they'll think like, oh yeah, I've made it. So I said to him, I was like, do not hold yourself back for this, right? Like we will sort something out. Like, just don't sit, because I also think it's a bad look if he could climb higher and like he's just sitting to play the event.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't really want you to do that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
So he
that was a problem, wasn't it?
yeah, so he hit diamond 4, and then it's like, oh, and I said to him, I was being a bit of a smart ass. So I was like, we now cost the same points. Why do I want you playing over me? Like, just being like my smart ass cynical self. So like, shout outs to Cutie. She pretty much chucked the message out there, got the players for the team, like pretty much at last minute, right? I think it was like the day before or something. And so I made Colette a deal. I was like, I'll play one game, you play the other, right? Like, because it was guaranteed 2 games anyway. So I
Yeah.
said to him, I was like, that way my competitive like feeling gets served, and so does his, because he was like doing some promotional stuff for it anyway.
Oh, so you didn't play the second game?
No, he did. I watched I watched the finals.
Okay.
But like, I personally had a little bit of like a sour taste in the second one, because again, there was the whole stuff with like your team, and like whether or not you want to get into that's up to you. I don't mind. But
Yeah, I'm happy to. It's
my
all good.
opinion is like public knowledge, because like, again, I was streaming at the time, right? So like my entire reaction was like in live view, like from when
Yeah.
they were like talking to me. Um, and then, but I had people come into my chat, because with having like a tournament background, you do get like micromanaged from people quite a lot, like in your chat and whatnot. So I had like a Masters player come in and just like, he started flaming my build, and then like, because again, I was like smiling and just having like a fun time. I was like goofing off, because the way I see it, and like, no offense to whoever your mid laner was, but if I wanted to, they would have been 0-12, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and so I still got my numbers. I think I ended the game like 11-4, even though we lost.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to have to put like win the game like that, and just like make it all about me. Only for the fact that it's an open tournament. You pick up your players, and I think my one issue is you can have like, if a team had a Masters player and then they land into a bronze, right? The bronze player is having no fun if the Masters player takes it seriously, and
Yeah.
it's like that can make it slightly harder on people. And you know if you end up getting dicked down by someone, you're not really going to want to come back, typically.
Yeah, 100%. Or if you know that you've got to play against that Masters player in a week in advance, then you're just sort of like contemplating it the whole week and you're just like, oh, damn.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what happens in our first game that we played. The very first time we did it is we had a Masters top laner who was playing against a Platinum top laner,
yeah,
and it was quite brutal. And that was the actual end result, was the Mondo that we had just solo carry the game, and it was like, I was happy because it was cool that we won a game, but
yeah,
I'm sure that the Garen who he was playing against was was not happy. So would he come back and play next time? Probably not. You're right. Yeah.
yeah. um yeah, so I personally, I played something like flashy because I knew we were on stream, so like I could potentially look and do like a highlight play, but I'm not gonna like 1v5 the game, just because if my team loses, we lose, right? I wasn't too big on like winning. um
Yeah.
and so like I figured it was fine, right? They came in because Cutie was actually on my team, right? Because I needed like the sub, and like everything
Yeah.
was like fine. The DC on your end was very unfortunate, and so they asked me what I wanted to do, And I was like, it's not up to me, it's up to you guys. Because if I'm being selfish in my vested interest, because we were getting slaughtered in that game, right?
Yeah.
Like we were losing, and like we were
I think
losing
you were
hard.
about, I think you were like 6 to 8 thousand gold down
Yeah, and so
at the
like
time.
there is very little way of us winning that game. Even in the 4v5, we were still losing. By the way, right? Like because the Trundle just had the side lane pressure, and that's what Trundle does.
Yeah.
So like they came in, and I was like, no, you guys have to make the decision because it's very tainted if I'm like, oh yeah, we'll take the free win, right? Like because now if we had to turn the game around and won, is the backlash the same potentially, right? But not as much, only for the fact that we ended up winning it, but because we lost, and I think a lot of the rule book, and now I did have a hand in like writing some of it. It was very like unclear,
It's
and so
it's hard to justify what happened and like what the best route is after, because there was, I did read the rules eventually. And obviously that section of the rule was quite limited. There's
yeah,
only like one dot point or something. So I'm happy, like as I said to my chat, am I happy with how it was handled? I think it was handled okay, but I don't think the ruling should have been that specific ruling. That's all that I said was, I think the game should have been played out,
yeah,
and whoever wins wins. There's no cemented result before the game finishes, which is kind of what was expected. But I wasn't going to be salty or sad about it because we're here to have a good time, and
yeah,
everyone's got a bit of a name on their back, let's say, because you're representing somebody else, which is kind of the the salty part of it, is because if people do say the wrong thing, then they're sort of making someone else look bad. But I think in terms of for preparation for next time, that'll be fixed, right? Like
yeah.
that won't happen again.
Nah, that'll be like
Which,
completely clear cut, and I do think like obviously if everything's perfect, it didn't happen that way, right? Um, and but like as it gets like slightly to a bigger and bigger scale, every like all the issues get ironed out on this much smaller scale. So as it goes bigger, that's when there should be no problems, and it runs like a clockwork.
oh yeah, dude, 100%. That's why I was happy to cop it, because it's only the second time they've done it. There's no reward, there's no prizes, no one's
Yeah,
losing anything. So this is gonna happen, and it's unfortunate it happened to us. And maybe next time there'll be something. It might be completely smooth next time. So
yeah,
it is what it is, really.
yeah. Because I think just from like seeing your streams, and like you don't have to answer this, but to my knowledge, you do peak around the 35 to 40 mark when it goes on, do you not? Like, is that not your higher like viewership?
Oh, so on a average, I'd say I average about, on a good day in the 20s.
Yeah,
Sometimes gets to 30, 33, 34 on a good day. So, and I think that has been as a reflection to these tournaments. Like these tournaments have given me exposure.
yeah,
And I think, like you said, like I didn't know you before the tournament. There's plenty of viewers in my chat right now that I didn't know before the tournament as well. So I
yeah.
would
It just
definitely encourage anyone to do it.
it spreads the love towards people, right? Like, we all want the same goal in the end. Like, it's not, and like we don't have to fight over things. It's kind of like the way,
Yeah,
I
everyone's
kind of
getting
see it.
exposure.
Yeah, like especially if you end up winning, right? And like as it gets bigger, what will probably happen is, you know, because Corby did that like little like rap track, which I thought was really really cool.
Yeah, I
I
did
was
say
like,
that.
so like it allows the creativity from people to like flourish, right? I had like the boxing glove photo. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I looked like a crackhead in that photo. Like
Nah,
that
my
was
chat loved it. They were
that
like,
was
"Oh, this guy means business."
yeah. And it's just you put yourself out there to a bigger audience, and if people like what they see, they might come hang out with you, right? Like I know, for instance, Six and Quirtus and those two in particular. I think they're from Corby's. Um, and it's like now they saw your stream, then they now hang out a bit, and all you had to do
Yeah.
was you had a fun night, right? Like you didn't lose anything by being there.
Oh, it was a blessing, man. Like that's what I know you were in the Discord group where people were sort of questioning whether they wanted to be there, and
Yeah,
I was shocked at the response that or the negative response that some of the streamers had, and I was like, I don't think they realize that this is so good for their stream that they're missing out on
yeah,
an opportunity.
yeah. It's
Which is
not.
why I was blessed to be doing it twice.
Yeah, like it's not a. It's always gonna help, right? Like I watched enough like YouTube videos and like, oh, this is how you grow your stream, and unironically, the first thing is not to stream. The first thing is to make content on other platforms typically, and like you get yourself
Really?
noted. Yeah, like everyone's like, oh, you grow your Twitch stream by posting TikToks, by making YouTube videos, like, and because typically people then if it blows up enough, they'll flock to like the Twitch stream. Like I
Okay, yeah,
think
I see that. I
I
see
think
that.
Twitch has like slightly gotten better for like discoverability, right? Like I do think I saw you on like my recommended before I even knew who you were, maybe once or twice. And it's the
Yeah,
same with like some other like OC creators, right? I'm starting to see more of them on my feed
yeah,
on Twitch than I used to before. It used to be like the people in like the 50Ks who I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably never watching them. Like if they do anything
yeah.
funny, it'll come up on like a YouTube highlight video. So
Well, I
like
said the recommended section on Twitch has helped so many people. Like, I can't tell you the amount of people that I get that they say they've come through the recommended section. They see me down there. They're like, oh, another OCE guy sort of thing.
yeah,
And it's good to have the OCE community supporting each other, popping
yeah,
off. I think that's overall what Pike was hoping for.
yeah. That was
With
his goal, right? Like he wanted to make OCE great again.
or at least like get the exposure to each other.
Yeah,
Because I didn't know who most of these OC streamers were until I even found Pike, or he found me. So
yeah.
that
Because
was good.
it's yeah. I mean, I guess my last like point on streaming, and then I can let you go so you can go back to playing your games. But I I have noticed you are the same off camera, like off stream, as you are on stream. I've met people who they give the whole like, oh, I'm so nice on the stream, and then you hear stories, you see their DMs because obviously everything gets leaked if you said some bad stuff, and it's like they're just so two faced about everything, or
Yeah.
like they'll play a game off stream with people, and like they're the most like vulgar person ever, but they're just trying to hide it when they on like go on stream, and having that like that fake personality is just so like disheartening because what it
Mm.
means is you don't think people will hang out with the real you, right? That you have to go and make a fake you up.
Yeah. Well, it's about being authentic, isn't it? Because that's what streaming is about. Is
Yeah,
you're not there to create. I mean, you can if you want to, but like I just would get so mentally drained if I was pretending to be someone else. And I think because I was quite a shy and sheltered kid when I was younger, so I feel streaming has actually helped me be a better, more confident person.
yeah,
Am I the confident that I want to be? Maybe not, but you're gonna get the right balance. So that is always a good thing as well, is just having a good balance with life and not putting too much pressure on yourself to stream every day. And streaming 12 hours a day is
yeah,
probably not great if you're not peaking at like 20, all these little things.
yeah.
So you just got to manage your body a little bit, especially when you get older.
Not there yet, but one day.
When you get to 30 like me,
Is that when the back starts hurting?
now it's when the knee and the wrist starts hurting. Your back's already gone.
Ah, I was gonna say because my left wrist is already fucked, so like unlucky.
Oh,
I
all you
started
need is the
early.
right one.
Oh yeah, true. The right one's for the mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm sure that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, where can people find you? You know, what's your socials? I'll let you shout them out at the end.
I've got Twitter. I don't use Twitter as much, but honestly, dude, like Twitch is where I'm at. Twitch has got all my socials. It's just KcGoku, and then yeah, I think Twitch is the most frequent platform that I'm on,
Yeah.
and I've got a Discord. So if anyone wants to jump in the Discord, there's the command for it, and then we're chilling.
Yeah. Right. I appreciate you taking the time,
It's all good, man. Happy to be here.
and I will catch you because I'll probably be back in the stream flaming you in about 10 minutes or so.
All right, no more Mel's games then. All right.
No, 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 no. Play Katarina.
No, bet. It's Katarina all night.
Right. Peace out.
Too easy, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.